This video is brought to you by Squarespace. No, it's not. It's brought to you by me, and only me, because apparently I'm not cool enough to be sponsored. So today in the video, we're going to be talking about the new Shure MV7 podcast microphone. I'm kind of going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be giving my opinion / review on this, but I also want to give you some comparison samples versus the Rode NT USB microphone. Of course, I am not paid or sponsored in any way. I bought the Shure MV7 just recently to replace my Rode NT USB, but stick around because I want to tell you why I'm replacing it and why I think that the Shure is going to work out better for me. But keep in mind that this is currently a $250 microphone, and this one over here I think is $169 online. So you may think that one microphone is better suited for you versus the other. So just stick around, and like I said, I'm going to give you some examples of what I think this microphone is going to be better for me in my use. So the best part about not being sponsored in a video is that I get to basically pick and choose the gear that I want, and I can tell you exactly what I want to tell you about it versus something that's given away. So hopefully if you stick around, I'm going to give you a unique or different perspective as opposed to some of the other videos that you're going to find on the MV7 on the internet. So right off the bat, we're going to look at the pricing for both of these microphones. Like I said, the Rode NT USB, it's right now on Amazon for $169. What's cool about it is that it comes with its own little pop filter and a little desk tripod, whereas the Shure MV7 is currently $249, and it just comes with the microphone, the box, obviously. You're going to get that with the different cables and whatnot. And obviously there are some big differences between these microphones. The Shure is obviously, it's got USB as well as XLR on the back. And by the way, what you're hearing right now is the Shure MV7. I will let you know on the screen, as well as vocally whenever I switch over to the Rode USB microphone. But this MV7, so if you're new to the channel and you can kind of take a look around, hopefully you'll stick around and subscribe, but I kind of do a little bit of everything, but I got my start actually as a musician. I have an older YouTube channel where I have tons of like guitar videos and whatnot, but I used to have the Shure SM7B. So if you look that up, you're actually going to see that this microphone looks a lot like that. So it's pretty neat. It's kind of like a poor man's version of the SM7B, but this microphone is specifically tailored towards podcasts, streaming, and things like that. So it is more designed to where you can just plug it into a computer or a laptop, something like that. So that is one of the main reasons why I bought it. Number two, it's Shure. They make, in my opinion, some of the best vocal products on the market. So real quick, on top of the Shure, you do have a mute button. You have this little interactive touch panel. And then you have your little headphone mix, which is basically, like I said, one's just going to mute the microphone. You can adjust your gain and your volume by using your finger on the top. And then the other is just the mixture of what you hear in your headphones versus the playback coming from the computer. So that's pretty similar to the Rode NT USB as well. It does have more or less the exact same thing. It's got a volume knob for your mix, but then the microphone versus audio coming back through the computer or sound source. So very similar there. One of my biggest issues with the Rode is that you can't adjust the gain. There's no gain adjustment on there. So being that the Shure does have that, that's a big win for me. And a little bit about both microphones. The Rode is a condenser microphone with a cardioid polar pickup pattern, which just means that it's a front address microphone. The sound is going to pick up from the front. So if you look at the visual on the screen here, this is the front of the microphone where it says 0. So it's going to pick up really well from the front of the microphone. And as you start to taper off to the side of the microphone, it's going to start to roll off. And then into the back of the microphone, it's going to pick up very little. The Shure also has a cardioid pickup pattern, but the two biggest differences is the Rode is a USB condenser microphone and the Shure is a dynamic microphone. The difference between those being condenser microphones are very sensitive. They can pick up noises from further distances. A dynamic microphone is going to only pick up sounds as you're close enough to that microphone. So if you film in a noisy environment like I do, you're constantly going to have an issue with a condenser microphone. If you live in a quiet environment or you don't have a family like I do running around, the condenser microphone will be just fine. But things to keep in mind, if you live in a noisy area where you have road noise, people in your living space that are loud, or airplanes or something like that outside, just keep in mind you might want to look towards a dynamic microphone. So that being said, that is a big reason why I decided to go with the Shure, because I used to use the SM7B. I loved that sound, and I can kind of mimic that sound here with the MV7, but it being a dynamic microphone, it's specifically tailored to bring out the frequencies of the vocal and to kind of block out distraction noise in the background. So that's what I got this microphone specifically for, because here I am. I live in a house with 2 kids. We constantly have music going. I have a TV just 10 feet to outside of this room here that's going right now. My kids are constantly playing. Almost all of my YouTube videos I'm recording with family in the house. So this microphone is going to help me be able to do voiceover work and hopefully cut down on some of that background noise. So you can be the judge of that. And then when I switch over to the Rode NT USB, which I'm about to do right now. Okay, so we've now switched over to the Rode NT USB vocal microphone. Again, I've had this camera for over a year. So all of my voiceover work on my channel over the last year has been performed on the Rode. It is a plenty capable microphone. It sounds great. Again, it's just a condenser microphone, and it's going to pick up a lot more background noise, so that can be distracting and or completely ruin your material. The other thing I noticed with this microphone is to get the full sound that I particularly care for, you do have to get very close. So there was a motorcycle that just drove by, which is always what I'm running into. I'm sure the microphone picked up enough to where you could hear it. If not, you can go back and listen back and put on headphones. I'm sure you're going to hear it. I'm confident that with the Shure, I'd probably would have been able to keep that audio, because again, being a dynamic microphone, you've kind of got to get it like right here on yourself for it to be heard. And otherwise it's going to block out those distracting sounds. So getting back to what I was saying, the Rode is a wonderful microphone. So you're going to spend almost $100 less at this point to get this microphone. And it does come with a pretty nice pop filter, even though mine broke because my son dropped it. But it does come with the tripod, the tabletop tripod, which the Shure, again, it doesn't come with anything. So out of the box, you're going to have to hold it if you want to use it. Otherwise, you got to buy a tripod, even a desktop tripod. They're pretty cheap. You can probably get them for $10 or $15. I opted for this boom arm here, which I like, and I just mounted it to my desk. And I think it looks cool and kind of adds to a professional feel and look to my desk setup. So, but it's just basically a way to hold the microphone. So again, a cheap stand will work just fine. So this is what you're going to get out of the Rode NT USB. You can compare that versus what the sound sounded like previously. I will go ahead and perform a couple of other audio tests. If you're a musician, it may sound different and you may want to choose a different microphone. So what I'll do is I'll grab my guitar and I'll just strum a couple chords and we'll see which microphone sounds better. All right, so this first test is going to be on the Rode NT USB. Okay, we'll do the same thing on the Shure. All right, so we're back on the Shure microphone. I'm just going to point this down a little bit. So we're going to play the same thing on the Shure. So another benefit that this Shure MV7 has is that you've got the Shure Plus Motive software. So that's what you see here on the screen. And I think that it's great because you can click auto level and it's basically just gonna adjust everything for you. I prefer to just keep it on auto. When I'm speaking, I keep this on near. Tone, I like to keep it on natural, but here's what it sounds like if you click dark. So here is how my voice sounds. Hopefully you can notice the change there. And if we go back to natural, here's what it sounds like. And then if we click on bright, then here's what that sounds like. So we're gonna go back to natural, but one thing I'm gonna do is change this to far. So now what this is doing is changing the distance you are, or whatever it is that your recording is, away from the microphone. So what I'll do is I'll play that same exact riff on far. Okay, so what did you guys think of the sound differences? Which one do you think sounds better? I know for me, I think that the Shure just sounds a little bit better. Also, it has obviously some better settings that you can do more settings, obviously, with the software. Of course, the touch little panel here. Being the first generation of this microphone, the touch panel is cool. I don't really feel like I need it. I don't use the touch panel a whole lot. It is kind of wonky when you're dragging your finger to slide across there. You really just have to make sure that your finger's in the right spot. It's not like touching a cell phone or a smartphone. It's not as interactive as something like that's going to be, but it is pretty cool and it is useful and practical. But I really think for an audiophile, you're going to spend most of your time right here inside of the software. So if we open up this Shure Plus Motive app, obviously, you can tell which microphone is connected to the computer. I'm going to go ahead and click over on manual. So here's where you can adjust. If I click mic mute. So there you go. I was muted out. Again, you can kind of press the microphone as well to do the same thing. The biggie for me is going to be the mic gain. Again, I mentioned that earlier, but I really like being able to adjust the mic sensitivity. Again, I really feel like the auto is really where it's at. So most of the time I just keep it there because honestly, I don't have the time to sit there and dive into this every time. But for the microphone for other people, I really think that this software is going to open your abilities to record different things up. So again, you can record guitar, vocals, whether it's singing or talking. It's just cool to have. You've got the monitor mix, which again, you can control up from the top of the microphone as well, which is nifty. Again, if you don't have the software, don't have the ability to run the software, you can control it right on the microphone. Again, you have some EQ. So I'm on flat. You can do like a high pass, which is going to just roll off all of your low sounds. You can do a presence boost, which may make the vocal sound good. Here's what high pass sounds like. So you're probably not going to notice much of a difference, maybe just a little low end. This is what presence boost sounds like, which I'm sure you can hear the difference in the vocal. And up top, you have the high pass and presence boost. So here's what high pass and presence boost sounds like. So we're going to go right back to flat, and there you go. That's what flat sounds like. Limiter, all that this does, if you slide this on, is if you're clipping the microphone or if you're recording, let's say you're recording a drum or something, and it's playing a little quieter, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're going to hit it really hard. A limiter will limit it from peaking, or at least try to. That's what that does. Compression, you can turn on light. All a compressor does is try to make soft sounds louder and loud sounds softer. So it tries to make the sound more uniform across the board so that it's not going to go from really quiet to really loud and vice versa. So the more you turn this on, the more that's going to try to compress and keep everything right in the middle. So heavy is probably not going to be really good. Heavy compression is probably what's usually used for broadcast, specifically on the radio. And again, I think that the software just does a great job. If you go right over to auto, boom, here we go. You can actually adjust this and then save your own little preset. It's very simple to operate. You don't have to be a computer whiz to do this. So honestly, this is a microphone that if you're just a beginner and you want good audio, this is going to be worth the money, at least in my opinion. Of course, you have to be the judge if it's going to be the right microphone for you. But again, if you want just a solid microphone, but you really can't afford $80 more, go with the Rode NT USB. It's a solid microphone. I just think that the Shure sounds better, and I think most of you watching this are probably going to agree. That mixed with more options for controlling the sound. To me, this is just the reason why I bought this microphone and the reason why I'm not going to be using my Rode NT USB anymore. So that's going to wrap this video up. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Hopefully that you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you want to stick around, you guys know what to do down below. And thanks again for watching. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next video.